It turns out you can't make good content with AI unless you specify your brand voice. So today what I'm going to do is show you how to use Claude AI to create your brand voice so that you write good content every time. Your brand voice is like a restaurant's signature sauce. Without it, it just tastes like everybody else's. Worse, AI can create content for anybody. So you have to think about why would somebody read my content rather than just generating something similar using AI by itself. The reason's pretty simple. People like a brand. They like your voice, they like your style, but if you have neither one of those things, there's no reason for them to come to you versus a competitor or just using AI to generate it yourself. So what we're going to use is Claude AI to generate your brand voice statement. Then in tomorrow's video, we'll actually use that statement to create an article that's specifically branded for you, sounds like you, and will be effective in generating brand awareness for you every single time somebody reads it.
All right, so we're going to do the instant brand voice generator. We're going to use Claude AI. Again, I think Claude is the best at copy at this point, so that's why we're using it. And you can see it has a prompt here. Now, there are some inputs. So again, if you have to do inputs, I suggest copying it and doing like a Google Doc or something that you could reference in the future. That way, if you need to use this again, you already have the template set, and you can just copy and paste it from there, and then give it a appropriate name. But the actual prompt is pretty simple. Review the following information about my brand, then create a detailed brand voice summary based on the definition that follows the brand information. So let's go ahead and zoom in so you guys can see what I'm doing. All right. So target market, input, who exactly is your target audience and what are their key characteristics? So this, just if you do your best, if you don't have a target market, we will talk about that in a future episode. But for right now, I'm going to say middle-aged, educated men and women in the USA who are interested in being ahead on innovation in business. All right, there you go. Audience problem. What problem does your brand solve for this audience? We teach people how to use AI in a practical and useful sense right now. Core brand values. What are the three most important values brand stands for? Let's go ahead and say innovation. Let's say ethical. No, let's say management, good management, and practicality. And then finally, general brand traits. If your brand was a person, what would their personal traits be? We're going to say motivating, intelligent, and slightly funny. We're not going to go full funny. We're going to go slightly funny. That way it doesn't make jokes all the time. Now, just like most of our GPTs that we develop here at the Academy, we always do the definition. The reason why you do want to do the definition in everything, even these little prompts, is because if you don't, it'll give you a different answer. So this is our definition for brand voice at the Academy. You can see it's pretty comprehensive, just for a small word, but we think it's necessary to give you the best possible. So go ahead. I'll go ahead and link to the full voice or the full definition if you want to check that out. I'm not going to read the whole thing here. I'm going to go ahead and copy the whole thing now, go into Claude, and I'm going to paste. And that's it. You've now input everything you need, and now you're going to get a statement out of it. Now you can craft the statement so that it's useful for, say, your staff or whoever you want to add to that. And you can see here it pulls up the canvas, so you could, keep on prompting, but you see the view of it right here. I'll wait until it's there. And there you go. So it's a very comprehensive statement because it's going off that big definition. But don't be scared of it because you could still trim it down. So let's say this is our big statement. You can also say, give me a true, we'll say 5 sentence summary of the brand voice. And so the reason we do this is because you might not want to do this entire thing, but if for big documents, I definitely would use the full definition. But just for practicality's sake, I always say do something like this as well. That way, when you're ready to write, which we're going to use tomorrow, you could try either one. But in this case, you have something a little bit easier to copy and paste in there versus all of this. And just know that there is a capability to copy this little clipboard down here, copy contents. I now have it in. And then the next step that we're going to do tomorrow is we're going to start a new chat and then we're going to use this there. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this though. And this is usually how we track information. We like to put everything into Word documents. That way you could reference it in the future. So we're going to say, well, we're just going to call this example brand voice with Claude. And then I am going to copy again, use that little clipboard function. And I'm going to paste that there too. That way we have both. All right, so let's go ahead and read it just so you can see what we got out of this. Your brand voice is confident yet approachable, focusing on making complex AI concepts practical and immediately applicable for middle-aged professionals. It strikes a balance between intellectual depth and accessibility using clear language that respects your audience's intelligence while avoiding unnecessary jargon. The tone incorporates strategic touches of humor to make technical content more engaging, but maintains professionalism and credibility throughout all communications. Your voice differentiates itself by emphasizing real-world implementation over theory, consistently demonstrating how innovation and good management principles can be applied today rather than that just discussed. In all platforms and formats, the voice maintains its core values of innovation, good management, and practicality while adapting its level of formality to match the context. More professional on LinkedIn and your website, more conventional on social media, but always focused on providing actionable insights. So this is a lot of information there that you're conveying, and there's even more. If you go ahead, it has voice application, vision elements, brand values, and all of this is kind of part of that definition. That's why I gave so much information versus give me a brand voice statement, which would really oversimplify what we actually need as a brand. All right, so there you have it. There's one statement. You fill out a few fields, and you have a very succinct and useful definition for your brand voice.
All right, so there you have it. We generated your brand voice statement. Now you can take this statement and not just use it in Claude, you can also use it in ChatGPT, Perplexity, or any other AI that you want to use to generate written content. It can also be used for things beyond just writing articles. You can write scripts for videos, you can write podcast concepts, you can write copy for a landing page or an ebook or pretty much anything else. Plus, using what I'm going to show you tomorrow, you'll be able to create a brand style that actually allows you to make every prompt that you use with Claude have that same brand voice. So now you have very consistent copy and it's going to be much more effective in your marketing. So tune in tomorrow and we'll talk about writing your first branded article.